I'm just sitting on your front porch, wondering how could I be so far from my home? And my mind is somewhere else, but when I find it, I'll patch up where it's been blown. Now I'm just floating on the breeze, and I feel I'm falling like these leaves. I must be cornerstone. Oh, but when I reach that ground, I'll share this peace of mind I found. I can feel it in my bones, but it's gonna take a little time for me to set that parking brake and let myself unwind. Shine that light on me. I'll sit and tell you my stories. Shine on me, and I will find a song. I will sing it just for you. And now I've been moving way too fast on the runaway train with a heavy load of my past. And these rails that I've been riding on, they're worn so thick.
What's going on, MBL Network? We are live. This is the MBL 360 podcast. Salgado first in the building today. We have one major topic to discuss today, and that's going to be the MBL Season 54 upcoming playoffs. We're currently in Week 18, and man, we're getting really excited over here. I do have some big news I want to spoil right now, and that's, have you heard the news, Sonny? First of all, congratulations, another week. We made it. Saquon Barkley's going to be on the block for next year. I know that's a building the franchise topic. That's a New York Giants topic. But are you surprised that Saquon Barkley might not be a New York Giant going into NBL season 55? Yo, Sonny, you're muted.
My internet just died and it came back. So
there it goes.
We'll see how this goes. That was the thing. All right. So Saquon Barkley, give me that one more time because I missed it.
All right, Saquon Barkley's on the block. He's not going to be a New York Giant if all things go the way that the New York Giants want things to go this offseason. He's not going to be a Giant NBL season 55. Does he have anything left in the tank? Could he help any of these teams? We talked about it off air, how great the running game has been for a lot of teams this season. Is Saquon Barkley still a difference maker? Where do you got him right now?
I think he's still there, right? He's still 29 years old, right? So he'll be 30 next year. He's got elite attributes, elite talent. I'm a little confused by what they're doing over there. It's not like they're flush with talent in New York that they can just give Barkley away. But look, I guess we'll see what they can get for him.
I'm thinking we're blowing it up. I'm getting a little concerned here. Let's go ahead and move forward with what we decided we're going to talk about on today's show, and that's the upcoming playoff preview. And I guess we can do AFC then NFC, or however you'd like to deal it out there.
Yeah, let's start with the AFC. I know we got some We're a few games early, right, to get the exact seating down, to get the exact layouts down, and there's some goofiness, but we'll take our best shot at it, and we'll see where we come up.
All right, let's go ahead and start with the AFC. You got the Baltimore Ravens. They're going to be on a bye here, right? So the Las Vegas.
No. So it will be the Ravens. So the Ravens losing today actually is going to move the Broncos up, as the Broncos have the highest record in the conference. So the Broncos should actually be the one
Raiders.
seed.
It's the Raiders at 12-4. Broncos are 12-5.
They're all 12-5.
Oh, did the Raiders lose as well?
I'm in game, and it says 12-5 across the board.
Ooh.
So Broncos are sitting at 10-2 in the AFC. So the Broncos will end up being the 1 seed, which is going to push the Raiders
away from a home playoff game. Wow.
Yeah. So this is
that's the worst thing that
now,
could have happened going into this last game, right?
Yeah, things got awful for them. But here's what I don't know. I don't know who's going to be the 2 and 3 seed between the Ravens and the Raiders, because the Ravens and the Raiders are both tied, same conference. Like, it's pretty crazy. It's pretty crazy what the tie-breaking criteria is going to be there in the AFC.
We get in the chat that the Jets just won, but they defeated the Houston Texans. Don't think that's going to do anything to the playoff board.
I don't think so.
All these teams are already at 8 losses. Yeah.
So let's kind of play a little game here. Let's assume the Broncos are 1. All right. So the Broncos are on bye.
All right.
Let's assume for a second the Ravens are sitting at 2. All right. I'm going to give it to the Ravens only because their points 4. They've scored 1 more point 4 than the Raiders. I don't know if it's going to work or not. But
yeah, I'm with it. I'm feeling you on that.
We'll see. So we'll go Raiders. We'll go Raiders 2.
Mm-hmm.
We'll go
Pittsburgh.
Ravens 2. Oh wait, never mind. So if the Broncos win the division, the Raiders couldn't be the 2nd seed anyways. They'll have to be a wild card. So then that would go Ravens 2. That would go Colts or Titans, whoever wins that division, at 3, and the Jets at 4. So the Jets, with that win, actually do win the division. So the Jets make the playoffs at 4.
What? Wait.
Which then are gonna, yeah, craziness. The Jets just won the division at 9 wins.
Oh, I was totally misrepresenting that 4 seed. I saw Buffalo there. I assumed 11 wins. They've been an 11-win team. MBL season 51, 50, all the way till now. So yeah, I didn't see there was a division winner at 8-9. So it's gonna be the 9-8 actually. Jets getting in the playoffs. Wow.
Okay, so let's recap. We've got Broncos 1, Ravens 2. We're gonna go Colts 3. You're gonna get Jets 4. That means Raiders are 5, Titans are 6, and the Steelers are 7.
All right.
So your first round matchups are going to be the Ravens versus the Steelers. We'll talk about these in a second, but we'll set them. Let's go Ravens, Steelers.
Hey, I'll put a ding on that first one because I could.
We'll come back to that because I got some things to say there.
Okay, all right.
I got some things to say there, so we'll come back. Ravens, Steelers are one playoff matchup. Then your next playoff matchup is going to be Colts. Did we say 6 was Titans? So we get Colts, Titans.
Another one of those games.
Oh wow! So does that mean you're gonna get Jets, Raiders to open that 4-5? God.
What a phenomenal scenario for the AFC. That could be one of the most legendary first rounds wild cards I've ever seen lined up. Divisional matchup, heated rivalry. Divisional matchup, heated rivalry. Right, and both of these came down to the wire to be atop the. Well, Pittsburgh didn't, but they were fighting for a good minute. These are not just teams that limped in. They've had some back and forth as far as the division record goes this season. This might be the most loaded storyline AFC wild card I've ever seen here in the NBL.
Yeah. So let's start with that Ravens Steelers game. Here's a note for the AFC. I haven't checked the NFC yet, but for the AFC, the Steelers are the only team with a negative point differential in the playoffs. They have 489 points scored. They've given up 523. They literally have a negative 34 point differential and they're a 10-7 team. You mentioned it off air. The backslide on the back half of the season by the Steelers has been epic. Epic.
And I hate to, I hate to talk about Pittsburgh in such a negative way, but it seems like every time we have one of these shows, they're not in the best lighting, right? It just seems they're always kind of coming off something, they're kind of in the middle of a downward trend, or we hope towards the end of it. They did come up with a Week 18 victory to get into the playoffs, but nothing super convincing and a lot of points given up. A lot of points have to be scored, and that's where I get concerned because I'd love to see that Pittsburgh Ravens matchup, and I'd love to see Pittsburgh go into Baltimore and take that W in that wild card game.
But what if I told you they're going to have to do it without Patrick Mahomes, who has broken ribs and is going to miss this game next week?
Is he?
Yeah.
And when did that happen?
Looks like last week.
Wow.
Right.
That changes everything. Who's the backup quarterback there in Pittsburgh?
Oh, God. I don't even know. They got rid of Pickett. I don't even know who's playing out there.
I'm pulling it up right now on the chat. Sam Darnold. Not a bad backup.
All right. Not the worst backup.
Not the worst backup. I'm gonna pull up his statistics right here. Sam Darnold, he's gonna be donning that number 10 Cordell Stewart Pittsburgh Steelers jersey here in a playoff matchup that's gonna be seen around the world. 88 throw power. Not that the worst. 82, 81, 87. He's still 29 years old. He still has the physical abilities, and the accuracy is pretty good. Top end for QB2. But without Mahomes, though. This was 10-7 with Mahomes, right? And he's having to put up how many points? I just don't know if Sam Darnold is a threat to put up as many points as Mahomes could, right? Because of the defense and everything, right? The defense has to be out. Look at their defense, Sonny. 30th in points allowed, 31st in yards, 29th against the pass, 30th against the rush. Oh, they're going to
talk about it.
It's going to be a tough. It's going to be a big game for Lamar Jackson. If you're betting anything, go over on anything with Lamar Jackson.
Look, if I'm Pittsburgh, the Ravens, they just allowed over 150 yards to the Bengals in their Week 18 loss on the ground. You got Najee Harris. He's top 3 in MBL right now in rushing. You're going to feed Harris all day. You're going to limit the throws. You're going to go heavy run. You're going to go play action, take your deep shots, but you're going to play a very conservative game here, and you're going to try to bait Baltimore into making some mistakes because I think that's the only way you got a chance to win this game.
Yeah. It's going to have to be that kind of big breakout game. Well, I wouldn't say breakout game, but a huge game for Najee Harris. Probably biggest one of the season. And those little pinpoint, I can give Sam Darnold 2.5 over under on throwing touchdowns for Sam Darnold.
1.5 should have been the line. I would think the over bet 2.5 and want to say.
Well, I'm just saying, just the way that Pittsburgh might have to air this one out once it gets a little.
I don't, but I don't think you do. I don't think you're going to.
You think you can control it with the run, right?
I think you can. I think the Ravens are going to play a lot of man. They're going to blitz heavily, knowing that you got a bad quarterback back there.
Yeah.
You seal that edge. You hit those outside runs. You seal that edge. You can break those runs on that team. Yeah. And I think that's what you're going to have to do. And then, you're going to catch them in that man coverage blitzing. You hit a nice heavy, max protect shot, hit that deep cross. That's where you're going to that's where you're going to make your plays right there.
And there is some talent on this offense side of the ball. George Pickens, Christian Kirk, Tyler Lockett even had his best season since Seattle buried him on the bench for who knows what and why in NBL season 50 and 51. But so you don't think they could sling it out with Baltimore, right? Think they got to hit it on the ground, pick and choose when Sam Darnold's. I'm under on the 2.5, so that doesn't make my argument good on 2.5. But I feel like they might need 3 touchdowns from Sam Darnold to win this game. You don't think you can get them 3?
No, but I would like to just point out, overall, it's like they don't use Najee Harris enough. The guy's a stud. We shall see. He's averaging 7.5 yards a carry. So,
and they are 5th in the league in rushing.
I mean, they've got a nice attack.
It's
They got
time
a
to
nice attack.
lay it thick on them, right? Yeah, shout out to you. The Tennessee Titans are the ones that laid the lumber there on old Patty Mahomes.
He wants his credit. Little hit squad there. But all right, that's good segue. Let's move to the next matchup, right? Which is going to be that 3-6, which is going to be the Tennessee Titans and the Indianapolis Colts, right? Division mates, our second division matchup of the playoffs. They're going to see each other. They split this year. This one's kind of interesting, right? Like we saw the Indianapolis Colts, reigning Super Bowl champions. They had a slow start to the season. They've really killed it on the backside of the season. Feels like Colts probably win this one. I don't know. What do you think?
I'm going as far to say this. If the Colts don't beat the Tennessee Titans at home, if they beat them at home, then they're going to win the Super Bowl, more or less. I think if Tennessee wins, if the Colts win this game, they defeat Tennessee, right? I just think that gets that engine going, and I think it turns this light on for this team, and they start believing again like they were last season in that playoff run, that magical, dominant playoff run. I think we might see it again, and I know you're going to say, well, the Ravens are going to be still alive. This team's going to be alive. Denver's going to be alive. My bets are on the Indianapolis Colts. I just think divisional games in the playoffs, Sonny, very tough to win, and they could go either way. If they get out of that fight and they come away with a convincing enough win for them to start getting behind this and start thinking, okay, we didn't play the greatest regular season, especially early on, but now we're going to take advantage of what we got here, and we're going to start going on a tear, and I think we could see that run very similar to last season.
Here's the problem I'm running into with the Titans. Ura's telling us how great he's been and yada yada yada. You look at their end of the season for the Titans. I wouldn't call their schedule great. They've got a pretty convincing win against the Steelers, which they knocked down Mahomes, but 45-21, that's a nice win. 2017 over Commanders, that's a solid win. 2017 over Cowboys, not bad. But I go back to Week 10. 26-21, a loss to the New England Patriots. Now, I'm not sure I can trust a guy. I don't think I can trust a guy that lost to the Patriots. I just don't think I can do it. So I'm going to go Colts here just because Ura lost to the Patriots. I can't put money on this guy. I'll take the Colts there.
That's where we're going with the Indianapolis Colts, and I'm with you. I'm a Tennessee fan as well. I'm telling you, 50-50, right? As high as I'm on the Indianapolis Colts, if they win this game, that's how much I'm thinking that the Tennessee Titans are going to be a tough out for this team. Now, let's say the flip side happens, right? Let's say Tennessee gets this win over Indianapolis. I could see a similar effect happening. I just haven't seen Tennessee go any kind of ways into the playoffs that makes me start thinking they're a threat. But with Baltimore still out there, Denver still out there, I just couldn't make the same kind of statement I'm making with the Colts. Colts been there, done it before. I like the roster, but dude, don't sleep on Tennessee. There's not a team in the AFC that wants to play Tennessee around one. I'll tell you that right now. But let's go ahead and move forward. 4-5, the last matchup here for the wild card in the AFC.
Yeah, Raiders Jets. Now this is a rematch. We saw these guys play in week
Jets.
number 4.
Did you ever think we'd say Raiders Jets though, Sonny? In a playoff game?
That AFC East is not very good. So it could be anybody out of that division.
Well,
they're all going to get bounced round one.
But out of the other division, Raiders?
The Raiders thing is wild, but remember I spoke about this once upon a time. I said, look, Fat has to get all of his wins in the first half of the season because the back half of the schedule gets nasty. And what we end up seeing, we did really see a decline in the back half of the schedule. In fact, the Raiders lost, 4 of their last 5. I mean, that's tough. That's not what you want to do. And frankly, you got whooped by the Rams. They got a nice win against the Chiefs, and they got beat up by the Texans, beat up by the Broncos, and then just dropped one to the Seahawks. This is not where the Raiders want to be right now. But again, we'll go back to week 4. We did see a Raiders team that beat the Jets 28-7. So if we're handicapping this one, do we think the Jets have turned it around? Do we think the Raiders are on a slide? I don't know. You look over at the Jets, they've already basically been playing the playoffs. They had to beat the Texans to get in. So winning they're in, they had to win last week against the Dolphins to keep their dream alive. They're kind of on the upswing right now. They're kind of finding a way to win. I mean, look, they got a win against the Lions in week 15. That was a big win.
Man, now that you start stacking them up like that and you look at the resume from a distance, this is the hot mid-major versus the declining mid-major, right? And I'm Raiders Nation. I've been that way since we got the 7-1 start, building the franchise Giants. We had a little bit of a down season in MBL season 54, no playoffs for us, and we went for the Super Bowl last year. They're that high. I had to keep riding the high, and who was the easiest bandwagon to get under? I mean, nothing like the dream town of Las Vegas, the Raiders, anything can happen. And I mean, I got to stay by that and see it to the end. But man, I wouldn't put any money on it. If I did, I'd take the Jets, just because what you laid out to me already. Let's move to the NFC unless you got final words here.
Well, let's make some picks real quick, right? Let's just run through this. We'll go ahead and give our predictions. So, Ravens, Steelers. Who do you got?
I'm going with the Steelers in the upset.
Wow, I'm going Ravens. So then we got Titans, Colts. Who do you got?
I'm going Indy.
I'm also going Indy. And then Raiders, Jets. Who do you got?
I mean, just pretend like there's money on the line here. I'm going to go with the Jets.
Ooh, okay. I'm going to go Raiders. So in my hypothetical scenario, that means the round 2, because we're going scratch across the board, and basically, I guess the Raiders winning. So it'd be Broncos Raiders for the 3rd time this season, and then you would have Steelers Colts, or excuse me, Ravens Colts. So you'd have a rematch of last year's playoffs, which would be kind of interesting.
Hey, we didn't
I
do
would
Buffalo,
probably take
Denver,
the Broncos.
did we? In week 1?
Buffalo Denver.
Did we talk about them?
Who's Buffalo Denver? Buffalo in the playoffs? What are you talking about?
Oh, I'm looking on this dang Neon Sports not updated yet. God,
Yeah.
I can't believe I can't believe Buffalo didn't have double-digit wins.
So I think looking at this, if you're the Broncos, you're feeling pretty good, thinking you're going to be sitting in the AFC playoffs, waiting for the winner of the Colts Ravens. Now in your matchup, you took the Steelers, which would change that. But if I had to pick an AFC title game right now, I'm taking Broncos versus Ravens, and I'm actually going to take the Broncos to win the AFC this year.
Here's my thing why I'm taking these Ravens. I'm thinking of, when I'm taking the Steelers, I'm thinking money on the line. I'm parlaying what I have, right, with the other games in AFC. I'm parlaying all of them just wins and losses, and straight up, I'm taking, I'm taking Pittsburgh to win. I'm sure I'm going to get good odds on the parlay on that, and then I like the favorites in the other one. I like the Jets a lot if money's on the line, but I'm rooting for the Raiders. It's very weird. And the Colts, I just think if they win, they're going to turn it right back on. It's just not their story to go out in this wild card round. I truly believe that. And I want some good odds on my money, right? So I think just Pittsburgh, as electric as they've been, even without Mahomes, that's really going to pay dividends if they were able to come through. And as you said, ride that Najee Harris train all the way to Victory Station. See what I did? Train
we ain't
station.
Gambling here. we aren't doing odds around here. Give me the Broncos to win the AFC. Who do you got? Take somebody to win the AFC, and then we're moving to the NFC.
Oh man, I'm going Colts.
Don't need an explanation. All right, so he's got Colts. I got Broncos to the NFC. So looking at the NFC matchups now, there's a lot of craziness here. So we got to explain some of this craziness here in the NFC.
We gotta hurry this up. This is supposed to be like a 15-minute show.
I know. We just can't help ourselves.
Yeah, I know.
So the Rams are actually going to win the NFC, be the 1 seed.
Oh, wow. How'd that happen?
So it's going to come down to conference record, I believe. And head-to-head maybe? I forget what it was, but I heard Packers and Rams talking about this earlier. I'm pretty sure the Packers are going to be 2, Rams going to be 1 seed.
Okay.
So you got the Rams at 1. Packers at 2. You're gonna have the Seahawks at 3. Or no, they can't because Rams won the division. So you have Rams at 1, Packers at 2, Buccaneers at 3, Commanders at 4. I guess Seahawks at 5, Panthers at 6, and then, folks, we got to talk about this cluster in the NFC. There are currently like 4 teams tied for this last one, and Bomber holds the tiebreaker right now because he has a chance to win and push himself in.
We'll just say that
so right
happens.
now, so we're just gonna assume Bomber wins.
Yeah, because then it'll
Now,
just turn
here's
into
what-
like a whole conversation about 5 teams and
No,
how
no,
many
no,
times
we're not
they-
doing that.
They saw their grandma last year.
But look, but this is why this is interesting though.
Mhm.
The round 1 matchup
Oh no.
is going to be Packers versus Lions, which means somebody in the NFC North is going to finally get a goddamn playoff win.
I like it.
Congratulations, NFC North. NFC North, congratulations. You guys are finally going to get a playoff win.
I hate that it had to come to
It's
this,
been a long time.
but maybe I don't win. Maybe I don't win. But then Draco probably gets in and ruins it.
All right, then
keep
you guys
moving
are
on.
still
What do we
stuck.
got?
All right, so Packers versus Lions. That's going to be an interesting matchup. I think we'll see what happens on that. You guys have played twice this year. I think Packers kind of got your number, but we'll see. I don't know. I kind of think that offense is going to be tough to stop.
We're off numbers.
Flipping.
If he's still on numbers, we're not on numbers anymore. So good luck.
So if then we drop down to Buccaneers and Commanders. That'll be interesting. Like the Buccaneers have kind of come out of nowhere. I
they've
really
been
wasn't
hot,
expecting.
too. Did you
I
expect
played
them to
them early
beat
in the
Atlanta?
year.
Did you expect them to beat Atlanta in this last game? I was completely.
Not by 20-some points.
Yeah.
I mean, they just spanked them. They took them out behind
it was
the
21-0
woodshed.
nearly the entire 2.5 quarters into play. It got a 3-score game. He ended up Tampa ended up blanking Atlanta 28-0 here in week 18 of NBL season 54. But that was shocking because Atlanta could have made, themselves a 7 seed. Yeah.
Yeah, they could have been in. Tron wants to know, how do Rams jump Packers? I have no clue. I just know that Poodle and Sal have both basically agreed that after advance, Rams are going to somehow be in first. So I don't know how that's happening. I do know Giants are out of town, and so Rams are going to get the force win. So maybe that has something to do with it. I couldn't tell you guys.
All right, what do we got next?
They're saying Bucks versus Panthers, right? No, that's interesting. So how would it be Bucks versus Panthers? Because Panthers have a better record than the Commanders, right? I don't know. That's interesting. Yeah, so then that would put 4 or 5 seed at what would I have? Panthers versus. Oh wait, no, it's because Commanders. No, yeah, Commanders win the division. So here's the problem. When there's one division that's really bad, like way below all the other teams, it's really hard to keep that in order. So yeah. So we'll reverse that real quick. So you'll have Packers versus Lions. You'll have Buccaneers versus Panthers, which now that's interesting because I think the Panthers have played much better as of late. So Panthers have played way better as of late, and I actually think Panthers versus Buccaneers will be tough, but I think I would still take the Buccaneers in that one.
Oh, really?
I do.
I feel like Carolina's coming on as of late a little bit. And, I don't like to give them many playoff wins because we all know what happens to them in playoffs.
I know.
But I think they get a win in the wild card round. I feel like they already dropped 2 to Atlanta this season too. They don't want to hear about how they're just losing to their division. And it's not their division anymore now. I just think they're gonna win.
Kind of battle tested, right? Like I really think they're kind of battle tested. The Panthers. Like I do like the Buccaneers.
Much I think they're gonna. Yeah, and I don't think it would do nothing to Tampa if they blow that game. I think there's just a lot more that Carolina's gonna be playing for in that 3-6 matchup. Trying to say, hey, I'm still the daddy of this division. We'll figure it out. They'll figure it out on the field. Well, they'll play.
Well, then you look at then you look at that 4-5 Commanders Seahawks. Now that was a playoff game. What, 2 seasons ago? So I feel like they've met quite a few times in the playoffs. Seattle giving the
Coming on
division
late.
to LA is. I didn't expect that. I didn't expect Seattle to give the division to LA. So I got questions there. I'm not sure what to think about the Seattle team right now.
Yeah, we talked about the Rams last podcast or the one before that about the roster, along with that Niners roster in that division. It's a very weird division, highly talented, but always the favorite is Marco Hopkins in that Seattle Seahawks offense. And hey, 12-4 is a good record, Sonny.
It is.
I can't knock it. I mean, the Rams, they're a game behind, and Seattle got off to a pretty slow start.
Yeah. I don't know.
All right, so who we got winning this thing?
I don't know. So let's run through them. So you got let's do Packers Lions. Who you got?
I can't see.
You got to take yourself.
Detroit. I got to take myself against that game.
I'm gonna make fun of you. I'm actually gonna take the Packers.
I don't believe in that.
I'm gonna take the Packers, just to bounce you out. Going 3-6. Who do you want?
Yeah, I'm going Carolina.
I'm gonna take the Bucks. And then 4-5. Commanders and Seahawks. Who do you got?
Oh, Seattle. A blowout.
Seattle in a blowout.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think Seattle came along late, and they've shown their ability to pick up these third downs over the last 4 or 5 games, 3-4 games. That I'm saying, okay, this team's starting to click. You get their young quarterback up and down, kind of like that's mama, but he seems like he's bounced out of the rookie wall now, and now I'm starting to like the kid. I don't like his swagger on the field. I don't like all the gear he's got on. It's a little imbalanced, mismatched, but that seems to be what's in. Maybe I'm just the old guy now, but I like Seattle.
I actually like Seattle there too. So let's move to round 2. Now in your playoff predictions, you have the Lions winning, which means it would be LA versus Lions in the round 2. Who do you have winning in that matchup?
Now I think I'm going to lose to Green Bay, but I cannot say I'm losing to that Rams team, Doug. You're going to have to push me to the next round. Because I'm not losing to that guy, dude. I'm not losing to that guy. That's not happening.
Bomber's walking himself
Sal.
to the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
anyways, so Bomber's got himself in the NFC title game. In my matchup, I would have LA versus the Seahawks. So in that matchup, I would actually take Seattle. So in the second matchup, you would have Carolina versus, I guess it would be Seattle, right?
No.
So you have
wait.
Or it'd be Carolina, Seattle for you.
I picked all the road teams.
Yeah, you took all the underdogs.
Yeah.
So who would you take in Carolina, Seattle?
Carolina bye.
All right. So you've got yourself versus Carolina in the NFC title game. So now I'm going to put you on the spot. Are you going to lose to JB in the NFC title game?
Wait, you mean bananas?
Oh yeah, you took bananas in that one. Sorry. Okay, are you going to lose to bananas in the NFC title game?
I should have picked the other way. No, I know that guy picks up too many fumbles versus me. I can't not fumble against him.
So you're gonna say bananas to the NFC Championship?
Bananas be going to the Super Bowl, right?
Yeah. Sorry. So you're saying
I say bananas in the Super Bowl. He's gonna win us the Super Bowl. He's gonna take on the Colts. Bananas.
So you're saying Colts versus Seahawks, with the Seahawks winning. I'll finish
because
out
we
my
need that
NFC.
because I'm tired of hearing you. Every week or so we do this, and it's just the NFC can't get it done. And it only happens so many times in the cycle, guys. We got to get it done this season. Because once you go 4 down, it's going to start getting in our head.
Yeah. So I'm going to take, so my playoffs, that would be LA versus Seattle. I take Seattle there. That'd put Green Bay versus Tampa. I'm going to take Tampa in that one. But I'm actually going to have the Seahawks beat Tampa. So I am actually going to have bananas.
So you're going for the NFC?
I'm going to have the Seahawks versus the Broncos, and I'm going to give the win to the Broncos.
Oh,
Broncos win their first title.
hey, that's not a bad.
AFC reigns supreme.
That's not a bad. That's not a bad AFC reign supreme story. But I already told you, Colts win that wild card game. They're going to the championship. Now I just hope they get championship fatigue. I think Seattle's going to come in so hot. Their young guys are going to be playing so well. I mean, it's going to be one of those. Maybe this team's a dynasty thing. That's kind of what the ownership does. The Seattle ownership does. You've seen them do it throughout cycles with different teams. Just kind of like find their way into the playoffs. Maybe a rough start to a season, but they're so young. And then they win this, and now they're just so young and so dominant, and everyone starts thinking, is it a dynasty? And then, he doesn't win one for a while. I think he went back-to-back once, but I don't know. That was a long time ago. So if you count those, you got to count mine. Let's go.
I got one from season 3. Can we count those?
You just got to find stuff around season 5. Get them to believe in that. How you not count 3 then?
Oh, God. So anyways.
Yeah, let's open it up for you.
Broncos, Seattle, and you got Colts in Seattle. So Seattle was unanimous NFC championships.
And if you are a Ravens fan, you should be upset because that's disrespect, right? Baltimore Ravens, they've done it back-to-back. None of us even batted an eye thinking twice about them. And honestly, they're the team that scares me the most. That's why you have to hope that the Pittsburgh Steelers do one and do a favor for a few of these teams because you don't want that Ravens team to start firing at all cylinders in the playoffs.
I think the Ravens team, you're going to need a team that's willing to run against them. Like I think they give you a lot in the run game, and you have to be willing to take it because their secondary is so good that it's hard to win in a shootout with them. So you want to slow that game down, frustrate them, win on the ground. And
I like that, but the mental struggle is, Sonny, you go on these drives, right? You're playing them, and you're in your running game. Boom, 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 right? Yours is a 12-play, 11-play, 14-play, whatever, touchdown, right? And you're like, how many third downs did you pick up? Oh, I picked up 2 on that drive. Dang, that's, that'd be hard to replicate that drive a lot of times, right? It could stall out. That's a lot of plays. Ravens could come down, run here, run right, read option, run with Lamar Jackson. Now he's already in the red zone, and then you feel that pressure, that like reverse pressure where I got to keep up with him. So you end up going away from your running game, which actually plays into him. I think a lot of people are susceptible of that mentality. They just see the quick scores, but they're not realizing he's just running the ball. They're just running the ball too. You got to stay with your game plan, not get out of it too early or get frustrated because of the way that they're putting points on the board quicker in the same kind of fashion you're trying to do it. They're just doing it in explosive plays, and it can make you start thinking that you got to keep up.
Urod does not think the Ravens are the 2 seed. Good luck, and give me a reason why, Urod, because there's really no good reason to guess why either team would be the 2 seed. So we just jokingly went with the Ravens because they had the most points scored. Urod, the Broncos are going to be the 1 seed because he has the best record. So Broncos will get the bye. We believe Ravens will be 2, and then your division will be 3, which will be the Colts.
Yes, you idiot. All right, guys. Appreciate it. Let's get out of here. MBL 360 podcast. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Just threw this one together for today to get something out before the playoffs. Give you something to talk about, something to chew on. Pause. And that's going to do it for the show. For myself and Sonny, we are out of here. See you next time here on the MBL Network.